Did you know GM built a Silverado with a Corvette engine that never appeared in any official catalog? And that there's a military version civilians can buy for a fraction of a high country's price? Today I'm revealing 5 special Silverados that GM prefers you don't know exist. Look, I spent the last 3 months investigating factory documents, talking to former GM engineers, and digging through government auctions. What did I find? Chevrolet produced several Silverado versions that were never advertised to the general public. Some for strategic reasons, others because they were simply too good and threatened sales of more expensive models. If you're the type who likes having something nobody else has, or just wants to save a fortune buying what GM doesn't want you to buy, subscribe right now because this kind of information doesn't stay available for long. Silverado number 1. Silverado SS 427, 2007, the Hidden Beast. Let's start with the bombshell. In 2007, GM secretly built 67 units of a Silverado SS with the 427 cubic inch LS7 engine from the Corvette Z06. That's right, 505 horsepower in a pickup that officially never existed. Why does GM hide this? Simple. This Silverado was faster than most sports cars of the era. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.6 seconds. In a pickup, GM realized this would cannibalize sales of both the regular SS and the brand's own sports cars. These 67 units were sold only to GM VIP customers through a special program called Special Vehicle Operations. They never appeared in dealerships. The internal code was RPO-B4Z. Today, when one appears at auction, minimum price is $85,000. But here's the tip. 11 of them were registered as test vehicles and later sold at salvage auctions with clean titles. I've seen one go for 28 grand because the buyer didn't know what they had. How to identify? Been starting with one GCK19, 5th position being Z, and a hidden tag in the engine compartment with code before Z427. Silverado number 2, Silverado W/T Municipal Fleet 2015 to 2018. The Fleet Secret. This one's for those who want to save big money. Between 2015 and 2018, GM produced a special version of the Silverado W/T exclusive for municipal contracts. Production code FLTMUN. Outside, looks like a basic W/T. Inside, 5.3L Ecotec 3 engine with special durability calibration, reinforced transmission, larger radiator, 220 amp alternator versus 150 in civilian version, and the best part, extended powertrain warranty to 200,000 miles that's transferable. GM doesn't want you to know this because these trucks cost $22,000 new to municipalities, while an equivalent LT cost $42,000 to the public. And they're better than civilian versions. Where to find them? Government auctions. Sites like GovDeals and Public Surplus. Look for 2015 to 2018 Silverados from city fleets with under 100K miles. Usually go for $8,000 to $12,000. It's literally half the price of an equivalent civilian version with superior components. Important detail, the FLTMUN code appears on the RPO label in the glove box. If it has this code, you've struck gold. Silverado number 3. Silverado ZH2 Hydrogen, 2016, the leaked prototype. In 2016, GM developed with the US Army the Silverado ZH2, a hydrogen-powered version. Officially, only one was built for military testing, but documents I obtained show there are at least 12 civilian units in circulation. This Silverado uses a fuel cell that generates electricity through hydrogen. Completely silent, 200 electric horsepower, and the only byproduct is pure water. Range is 400 miles on a hydrogen tank. Why does GM hide it? Because it would prove the technology already exists and works, but isn't commercialized due to oil industry pressure. These 12 civilian units were leaked to universities and research centers with confidentiality agreements. One was auctioned by mistake in 2021 in California. The buyer paid 31 grand thinking it was a regular electric Silverado. When they discovered what they had, they received an offer of $250,000 from a technology collector. Identification. Look for code EX1 in the VIN and a hydrogen compartment where the fuel tank normally sits. If you live near hydrogen stations, California has several. This could be the buy of the century. Silverado number 4. Silverado 1500 HD Classic, 2007, the anomaly. 2007 was a weird year. GM launched the new generation Silverado, GMT 900, but continued producing the previous generation, GMT 800, as classic. What nobody knows is they produced a version internally called 1500 HD Classic, code RPO F44. This version took the best of both worlds, 2500 HD chassis and suspension, but registered and insured as a 1500. 6.0L Vortec engine, 14-bolt semi-floating rear axle, helper springs, super tough 4L 80E transmission. Basically a 2500 HD disguised as a 1500. Why is this special? Payload capacity of 3,100 pounds versus 1,900 for normal 1500, but pays half-ton insurance. Lower registration fees, cheaper tolls, can park in weight-restricted areas. Only 3,400 were made, all sold in rural states, Texas, Montana, Wyoming. Never advertised. GM doesn't want you to know because it shows it's possible to make an ultra-tough pickup without charging HD prices. Price today? Between 12 and 18 grand with 150k miles. An equivalent 2500 HD costs double. Look for code F44 in the RPO list and the strange combination of 6.0L engine in a supposed 1500. Silverado number 5, Silverado RST Performance Test Mule, 2019, the most recent secret. Finally, the most recent and controversial. In 2019, GM built 200 test mules of the Silverado RST with the L87 6.2L engine, but with experimental twin turbos. Internal code PT19 RST, power 620 horsepower. More than a Raptor, more than a TRX. These 200 units were used to test the viability of a Super Silverado to compete with Ford and Ram. The project was cancelled, but the 200 trucks were quietly sold. The problem? They were sold as normal RSTs, no mention of the turbos. The owners don't even know what they have. GM installed limiting software that restricts power to 420 horsepower. But with a simple EC to reprogram, costs $500, you unlock the full 620 horses. How to identify? VIN with production between March and May 2019, Fort Wayne plant, and 2 small intercoolers hidden behind the front grille. If you open the hood, you'll see extra piping that shouldn't be there on a normal RST. Saw one being sold in Dallas for 42 grand. The owner had no idea. With the reprogram, easily worth 75 grand. And there you have it. 5 Silverados that GM definitely prefers you don't know exist. Each one is an opportunity to have something unique, more powerful, or simply much cheaper than conventional options. Which one did you find most interesting? Ever seen one around without knowing what it was? Comment below, because I read everything and sometimes the best finds come from you guys. If this video opened your eyes to these GM secrets, hit that like and share with that friend who's looking for a Silverado. They'll thank you when they save $30,000. Next week, I'm showing the 5 secret F-150s that Ford also doesn't want you to know about. Spoiler, one has a Mustang Shelby engine. See you then.